greed index is at an extreme fear level that I have never seen ever in my crypto trading or investing career. This is extreme low. I've not seen this. Maybe someone else have seen it, but I have not seen this. And crypto bubbles is telling us on the weekly setup that Bitcoin is actually outperforming most of the altcoins out there. Only some few in the space are doing well against Bitcoin. And if we look at our overall weekly bias and market structure shift, we're going to see that Bitcoin is still bearish. We have entered zone that we need to see Bitcoin leave that zone before we can start having hope for the next bull market. And I know most people out there wondering what holds the future of Bitcoin? What holds the future of crypto? If you look at crypto market structure, you'll see that the entire crypto market is in blood, is extremely downward. We have seen record low from other altcoins in the market. But if you look at it carefully, you understand that what is going on is simply market structure shift. Liquidity is leaving the market into something else. So in today's video, I want us to look at Bitcoin market structure for this week. Look at where gold and silver are. We're gonna look at the entire altcoin market, total three, total two, to see how these other assets are reacting to what Bitcoin is doing. My goal is to help you understand how to read the market. Then we can look at trade opportunities after we must have learned how to read the market. So if you're new here, you are welcome. If say you are a returning subscriber, you are welcome. Hit that subscribe button nice and early. Let's dive straight away into today's video. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We are at a critical level for Bitcoin. This is a critical level, and I think most of you are aware of the fact that we are in a critical level already, and most of you are panicking because you bought certain coins that you think these coins are going to make you massive gains, only for you to realize that what is going actually on in the market is not actually what you anticipated or what you think was supposed to happen. You knew that the altcoin season was coming. You knew that your coins are going to pump. But if you look at the market, it's not giving you guys that flavor. Many people are saying something else, but I have a different story for you. And this story is based on market structure. So you can see the green lines here are just key support and resistance level. I've talked about this level a couple of times, and I'm always gonna refer back to where we are. It's good we understand where we are in the circle based on support and resistance. This huge red candle break this support line, which is now resistance with high volume. It took us right down to $60,000, and it got into a distribution zone or a demand and supply zone that price has been before. You see previous price action, and based on the way I analyze the market, I want to look at market structure based on previous price action, because that's the only way I'm going to understand the liquidity zones that the market makers or big institutions, those who move money, can push price to or are going to push price to. I'm going to look at these key areas to see the possibilities for big institutions to place orders or push the market towards that area. Now I've mapped this zone. See, I mapped the low of this move or based on the weekly time frame, and the low took us right down to $49,170, and the high took us to $73,787. So I have my trading range based on the weekly market structure, high and low. That's support and resistance. Now we are in the support. We are in the zone and this line above, this trend line above, is considered now as a resistance line, and this one below is considered as support line. Now, I brought in the volume profile to mark the range that I am in, and the volume profile is actually one of the powerful indicators that I use here to map the volume levels on, like, at every given period of time, like in that range or in that level. So where we are right now, based on this, the value area low, right, is around $57,000. Let me say $58,000. The POC is around $63,000, and the value area high is around $68,000. So we last week I mentioned, when I dropped down on the daily time frame, I mentioned that because we are inside this value area high zone, price wasn't able to break above this, guys, the black line that you see at the value area zone, or I would say the value area volume profile markings. So you can see, based on where we are, like higher time frame, I told you guys that we're not able to break and close above higher time frame value area high. This is the higher time frame value area high, and price has been rejecting the current value area high. You see, and price making its way inside the previous value area high based on past price action, meaning there is high chances they are going to take us right down to the POC. That's what I mentioned. And I said that if we see any candle close, any daily candle close in this range, then the chances for the market makers, or for price, let me not use the word market makers, maybe most of you are new here, you will not understand. The chances of price to get to this level here, the POC, is high. Anytime you see a full daily candle close inside this range, then the chances for us to go right down here to $63,000 and then to $57,000 is high. Now, going now down to the 4 hours time frame, because we have established our bias, we are bullish, we are bearish, sorry, we are bearish. And now look at this level here. Like, guys, like, I want you to pay attention, because what we are looking at now is going to affect altcoins, or it's affecting altcoins. If you are in any altcoins and you want to get out from that altcoin, you need to understand what Bitcoin is doing, and you reflect it to your altcoins and see how your altcoins is reacting to what Bitcoin is doing. That's the idea of trading altcoins looking at Bitcoin. That's just the main thesis, or the main like, let me say, strategy. You need to look at how they are reacting to what Bitcoin is doing, or I should say the main catalyst. Okay, now look at this engulfing candle. This is a huge engulfing candle, bearish engulfing candle, breaking this line here, this volume profile line that we drew right last week, and price has closed below. I mean, the 4 hour candle has closed, not only one, two, and the third one is coming, right? And what is the rule? If price is not able to make its way back into this volume profile, that, like, based on our current trading range, because we are in a current trading range that we want to determine whether we're gonna go back and break above this value area higher, which was based on previous price action, like last year, or let me see, what year was that? Let me see what year this zone. Let me see, right that back in 2024. Yeah, right back then in 2024. So we are looking at 2024 key levels. Okay, wow, this is fantastic. So looking at where we are, guys, if the market opened today, right, and Bitcoin is not able to claim this candle, like where we are, if Bitcoin is not able to claim and stay above, at least above the POC, then the chances for us to go down to 63, $63,000 is high. And now there's something here. else here that I want you to understand based on the weekly forecast, because it's very important to understand where we are now. It the probability for Bitcoin to go to $60,000 is high from where we are, and the probability for Bitcoin to go to $63,000 is even higher, right? But we need to understand that this is based on market structure. But if structure is broken and it's not able to reclaim the previous structure, then the next thing you always look at is the previous structure, the previous levels. And if the previous level is not giving you that perspective, then now you look for the other previous levels. So I hope this explains a lot. It gives you some perspective as to how to approach the market from daily time frames. You mark those key levels, and now we are in this week. Like this week, this is what I did this week. I came to I marked this weekly candle. You can see clearly. Let me just go. Let me show you quickly. All right. Last week, you can see last week I marked this level here last week. You can see this green line represent last week price action. So let me take off this so you can see it clearly. Let me take off this so you see this clearly. I'm going to explain to you why this is powerful. So I marked this weekly low and high. This is this is the low here, and this is the higher with this green. And what I wanted to establish is the trading range. Because if last week closed inside this range, then we don't want to see this week break that same range and close below. So if we see Bitcoin close below this green line here, this green line, then the chances for us guys to go to $63,000 is even more higher. But look, we are just closer to this area. We want to see price hold this 60 on this. Let me see how much, what price is this? This is 65,000. Let's say price should be above 65,000, 65,500 or 600 for us to be able to stay out of that range, or to stay within the range that we might easily see price continue to go to the upside. You know. Now, looking at USDT dominance, right? Where are we now with USDT dominance? If we see this current structure, it's a signal to us that we are at a major resistance level. And what do you do when price is at a resistance level? You sell. You sell when price is at a resistance level. You don't buy at resistance. You sell at resistance. In this case, when USDT dominance is at resistance, you are looking for buy opportunities in Bitcoin on altcoins. And when USDT dominance is at a support zone, you are looking for sell opportunities in Bitcoin and or altcoins. Now that we are here and we have seen price reject this zone now 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and the volume is fading, this could also mean that they are preparing to mark price back to the downside. This makes sense because ever since price, I'm talking about dominance, not like of course I treat it as if it's a coin. So we left this structure, yeah, and we haven't yet retest that structure. When price break structure, or let's say change of character, we need to revisit this zone again. This was a structural shift, right? And I can also say liquidity shift. And now the price, dominance has moved away with high volume, leaving fair value gap zones. Come on, what do you think will happen here? At least failing here multiple times should mean that they want to retest this structure again on the weekly time frame. And dropping down to the daily time frame, you see that it makes sense, right? Ever since we saw this huge red candle that took almost all of this green vector candle, You can see that price has not been able to make its way above the midpoint of that range. Of that, yeah, the midpoint is not yet taken. We just price has been, or dominance has been able to make its way only at the midpoint of that range. And this is the same with what Bitcoin is doing. If you look at the price of Bitcoin on the daily time frame, you see that ever since Bitcoin make this huge pump to the upside, the midpoint has been holding like firm. This is a sign that they want to continue marking price to the upside than to the downside. So USDT dominance is in direct confluence with what Bitcoin is doing. No wonder if you look at Bitcoin dominance, you see that the structure here on dominance is even more juicier. This even gives altcoins more flavor. You can see we have been rejecting this zone here, this level here. I would say this resistance level here multiple times, and price is pointing downward. I'm talking about Bitcoin dominance is pointing more downward, and my thesis is this, or my analysis is this, or my like let me use the word forecast based on market structure. I think Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin dominance is heading towards 49%. That's my my take. Why? Ever since we left this zone, we have been making higher highs and higher lows. So we have been bullish more. We need to retest this zone again. And if say the dominance is going to continue to go to the upside, then it means that we might see Bitcoin dominance go right up to 74%. This is crazy. Yeah, it's possible. It can go to 74%. It's possible. Why? The previous structure is not yet taken out. So we are still bullish for Bitcoin dominance. This is the previous level that led to this high. Yeah. So until this level is taken out before we can start saying Bitcoin dominance chart is bearish. But again, seeing multiple rejection here is also a signal that they want to continue to mark dominance level to the downside. Okay. Now going to the altcoin market structure, you see that altcoin market structure looks even more juicier. Because you look at total tree, you see that total tree is holding here. This is a critical level, and this is trend for altcoins. If I see altcoins rejecting this zone here, guys, this is trend for altcoins. And when I talk about altcoins, I mean those altcoins that do well with Bitcoin and do bad with Bitcoin, or they are outperforming Bitcoin. And if we want to look at the altcoins that are doing well against Bitcoin, it's simple. You go to crypto bubbles, you stick on the top 100 coins. That's where I stick mostly with the top 100 coins, and I want to look at I want to be on the weekly time frame, and on the weekly time frame, I want to also be like my currency should be BTC, and I want to see which altcoins Bitcoin is outperforming for the week. I can move right up to the monthly setup, and I can move to the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, like today, these are the altcoins that are doing well against Bitcoin. So if I'm looking for any altcoin to dive in today, I'm going to look at either of these altcoins here that have moved at least 10 to 5% against Bitcoin. This show extreme strength, and for me to be able to execute that trade is simple. Let's say for example, I chose let me just go to Bitcoin pairs. Let me see which ones are there that based on what we just seen here today. Okay, I'm gonna choose let's see which one is up more than. Okay, let's take Dogecoin is actually showing more strength yeah. So you can see if we take Dogecoin, all right, what I want to look at is based on today's price action. All right, I want to see where we are today, and if you look at this price action, you're going to see that this is somehow like an engulfing candle forming on the daily time frame. So if this engulfing candle actually succeed to form like close as a real engulfing candle, then if I look at previous price action, I would say that this week is gonna be good for um Dogecoin against Bitcoin. You can see based on the volume profile, the rule is to get into at least towards the POC area around this zone. That's where you're looking for your buy, and then you can target the high, the high, which is around this zone here. So looking at this movement here that took us right up to this level, pull back, holding around this zone, marking key levels based on this chart. You see clearly that this is trend. Dogecoin has strength against Bitcoin, and for you to invalidate that, then we need to see the daily candle close out of this range and like close below this area here, close full candle, close here, right? So that's that for altcoins outperforming Bitcoin or pairing those altcoin with Bitcoin. Now let's move to gold and silver market structure. So, looking at gold and silver market structure, let's begin with gold. Remember, guys, I told you about where we are based on market structure, right? If we look at the gold setup on the weekly time frame, like what based on what we have been discussing here, this zone still remain my main zone where I want to get that first buy. Like I want to get into a trade, a swing gold trade. And this zone is around $4,400 for gold. Well, we can argue that price actually got to that area. See, it got there at one point with like this was sharp, it was quick, right? At one point. And now what I'm looking at now at this point in time is the previous high. So if you see the way gold is moving now, it's not moving with any volume. If I bring in the volume bar, you won't see like okay, let me just bring this on the daily time frame. Now it's not really giving me based on what I want, but this is not real volume. Let me take off the volume bar here. The volume is not really, it's not real, it's choppy. Well, you can still argue that price has been choppy, yeah, moving like slowly, slowly, slowly. But I'm looking at this high, yeah. If we are able, because price have already shown us that it can go right up to about this level, yeah. That's 5,600. So this is a major resistance level now based on current price action, and this is the previous low now based on current price action. So you can mark all of those areas to have your trading range. This area here, you mark it, right? Then you bring now the volume profile to create a range from where we are, based on where we are currently. And from there, this is the range that we have here. Okay. Now, if I drop down to the daily time frame, right, I want to understand where we are based on this circle. See, based on this cycle, we are breaking now the value area high on the daily time frame. So if we see this daily candle close with high volume, then the chances for us to visit this high here or this resistance level based on market structure is really really high for gold. And I think that's the case. And because if say this is not going to be the case, then this this weekly candle forming, this daily candle forming right now will fail, right? And if we look more, on the daily time, on the 4 hours time frame, we will see that on this time frame we have a clear range here that price can easily go to, and this range is based on current price movement. So if I mark this current price movement based on my volume profile, I want to like mark a different zone here. You see that the same thing is happening here. Price is above the value area high, is above the POC. So we can easily target this liquidity here, this imbalance here, you know, this should be the target. If you want to trade gold right now, this should be your target. Don't wait for price to go to the support level, so the resistance level, based on our market structure um setup. You can cash out profit around this area, around $5,451. That's where you can cash out your profit. And if I bring in, let me say, the alpha trend. Let me bring in the alpha trend here. Let me see how the alpha trend is going to react to this. Okay, you can see the alpha trend has already printed a buy signal here, right? Yeah, and this move qualifies, like, yeah, this is a right move, and this was a candle that caused the alpha trend to print a sell signal, right? It's very important, guys. What I want to show you right now, this is gonna really establish your entry. You see, you must enter this trade. So this is the candle that actually caused gold to drop down heavily. It's kind of like this. So let me mark only where we have this wick. Yeah, this full candle, the candle close this zone here, and take it to the future. I can see that's also an area where we have this the end of this volume node. This low volume node. Okay, so this is where you look for that buy opportunity. If say, let's say, for example, we see a huge move from here like this, there should be pullback somehow here, you know, then you are buying, take it up there. And for you to buy, wait for a fair value gap to form around this area, yeah, around this zone. So if you see a fair value gap around, like, when price is moving, that's where you should look for that entry. All right, what I drew here is just, like, something maybe you will understand, but we'll look for a fair value gap, look for high volume, look for also an order block, either of this confirmation candle. If you see it there, you are buying gold. But the target for this week for gold, I think, is around where I mentioned, 5,500. And if we lose this, then we're gonna go right down to about 4,000 or $5,000. Yeah, based on this current structure, yes, should be about 4,800. So yeah, that's that for gold. Now, going to silver, let's look at silver market structure. This one is even more juicier than gold, because we are still yet to get to this alpha trend sell zone. I already marked this alpha trend sell zone here. And if I take it to the future, you see that this is where price is going to actually reject from. And looking at the fact that the alpha trend has already printed a buy signal, yeah, and price is making its way to the upside. So if this buy signal is actually a real buy signal, then it should take us straight away right up to towards this area where the sell signal was created. And if we see any break and close above this sell signal zone, like this alpha trend sell signal zone, then the possibility for us to go even higher is huge. And let me bring in my other indicator here, which is let's see the BETONG crypto market structure. So based on this indicator, what I want to see are fair value gap. You can see this indicator prints automatical fair value gap, and this is part of my strategy, part of the way I trade. If I want to enter any trade, I want to get into that trade when I see price, around the fair value gap. And price did actually created this fair value gap here and got, you can see this candle make its way to this fair value gap. Two of these candles you can see, and going down like to the 1 hour time frame, you see that this zone is actually an important area of interest where we are. Why? This area is a fair value gap when price was dumping. You see, price created another fair value gap here. So you can either take this zone as a zone where you short gold back to either of this fair value gap area, or you allow gold, you allow silver price to change character, get to this other fair value gap here, or towards the alpha trend sell zone, and then you are buying pullback when price retreats to this area. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So you can see we still have a long way up there, So if we are gonna fail, yeah, we have a huge zone here that I think is we should expect some sort of rejection here. This is a huge resistance level, yeah. That price rejected multiple times, and now if we see the price of silver playing moving sideways, it means they want to break it with high volume. And if they do break it with high volume, then it's going to mean that they want to continue price towards this alpha trend sell zone. You know, that's like what I'm anticipating based on what I'm seeing on the chart. You know, now if we look at the overall, like the overall market structure, yeah, with silver, you know, it's like I would say that, guys. I think silver might not drop the way people are thinking. Like not yet. We still have couple of weeks left for silver to actually play out to what people are saying. Now we have to understand where we are currently based on the weekly time frame. Okay, and let's establish our range here based on this time frame. This is our range. This is the previous high here. This is the high, and based on current price action, this is the low. Let me take this a little bit here. Yeah, and this is the low. Whatever we do, this is our trading range. Provided we are in this range, the chances for the price of silver to get back to $64 is high, and the chances for silver to go to $92 is high. So this is the range, and you can do whatever you want to do based on where price is. And you don't want to buy now. We are like, if you want to buy, like you want to do you want to swing trade, this is not the right time to buy. You are around a major resistance level, allow price to break above it, go towards this alpha trend sell zone. After that, then you can, start looking for that buy opportunity when price must have rejected this zone. Because when price break resistance, that resistance zone becomes support automatically. You know. So yeah, guys, pretty much that's what we have for you today, or I have for you today, based on market structure. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, altcoins. The entire crypto market is, it's not looking that nice. Why Bitcoin is not looking nice? And we can see that Bitcoin can go right down to about $49,000. Why? The fear and greed index is showing extreme fear, the lowest level that I have never seen ever. And this could also mean opportunity for those who are DCA, who are looking for lower prices. If Bitcoin is your long-term play, then why not? Why not get into it? All right. So that's that for today's video. Enjoy the rest of the week. See you on Wednesdays, midweek reversal. After Wednesdays is Friday, capital rotation. So yeah, see you on Wednesdays. Have a nice day, guys. Bye bye. Ciao.